Mike Dewine is Ohio's Attorney General, and he is my guest now out of Dayton, Ohio. And, sir, thank you for your time. I want to know where we are right now in the Buckeye State.
Thank you.
I know it's Ohio. I know it's always close, but why is this race so close now?
It's coming right down to the wire, and I think we always have close races in Ohio when there's no incumbent. But what this race really is all about, in my opinion, is do we go back or do we move forward? When Richard Cordray and Ted Strickland were in power in Ohio 8 years ago, we had double-digit unemployment. We lost over 400,000 jobs. We've come back. We've regained those 400,000 jobs. We've added another 150,000 in statistics that just came out last week. We had more new jobs created in Ohio in the last year than we've had in 22 years. So we're moving forward. What Cordray will do is raise taxes. He will dramatically increase spending. That is just not the formula for moving Ohio forward.
Okay, I'm looking at the economy. It's pretty good. And I'm looking at what the president did 2 years ago. He won the state by 8 points. And you know in Ohio, 8 points is a landslide. So what explains how close it is if jobs and the economy are issue number one?
Well, I think those are important issues. But look, Ohio's a battleground state, and you know, we always deal with that, particularly in an open gubernatorial race. If you go back and look through the last 50 years at open seats for governor, you'll find that they all come right down to the wire. But we feel we have good momentum. The president is coming in on Monday. I look forward to being with the president in Cleveland on Monday. I was with the vice president yesterday. Lindsey Graham came in the day before. So a lot of interest in this race.
Clearly, yeah. Between
really
the three.
have
Specifically, though, why Cleveland on Monday, and what does his presence do for your campaign?
Well, I think the president always brings energy. You know, this is an election that now turns out to be really just a lot about voter turnout. I mean, we're still persuading those voters who, you know, have not made up their mind, but it's also a question about who is going to show up. I mean, this is the Buckeye State. It's a very, very, very close race.
Yeah, when you canvass the country, and I know you've been focused where you are there, and I hear the argument you're making against your opponent. By the way, we invited Richard Cordray to come on. We hope he takes up our invitation. Still waiting for the call back, hopefully tomorrow, maybe Monday, but he's welcome here anytime. When you look at this election and see sort of what people are voting on, what does it come down to you? Is there, I said there's 1,000 storylines on Tuesday, and there's probably 1,000 storylines, but is there one storyline that can determine the direction of America and where the American mind and politics is today, sir?
You know, I can only tell you about Ohio, and it seems to me, Ohio, we come down to whether you want to go back with Cordray or head to the future. My running mate, John Husted, and I have a real vision for the future of the state of Ohio. We have a robust anti-drug plan, for example, which is a huge problem in the state of Ohio. My opponent, Richard Cordray, has endorsed State Issue 1, which is a George Soros proposed constitutional amendment that would give Ohio the most lenient drug laws in the nation. This is not where we want to go. It would say, for example, someone who had enough fentanyl in their possession, a drug dealer who had enough fentanyl in their possession to kill 10,000 people, that would become a misdemeanor in Ohio, and with absolutely no jail time. That's just a radical position, not something that we want. Eric Holder and Richard Cordray came into Ohio with a press conference a number of months ago, and that was their proposal. I think the voters are going to reject it. Even the Democrat nominee for Attorney General in Ohio is against it. Democrat and Republican judges are against it. So it's really a very radical position that Richard Cordray is
it'll
proposing.
be interesting.
I think it's also radical, frankly. Go
ahead.
You know, he's proposed $4 billion in new spending in Ohio. We have to balance our budget in Ohio, which is a good thing. So $4 billion of new spending simply means $4 billion of new taxes on the backs of Ohioans.
Yeah,
the right way to go.
Last point, your Baldwin Wallace poll has you up by about a point, not quite a point, but it's 39.4 for you, Cordray 38.8, razor tight. Here's the tweet from the president. I know he endorses you. Here's what he said. Mike Dewine will be a great governor for the people of Ohio. He's an outstanding man who loves his state, always produces big. Richard Cordray will let you down just like he did when he destroyed the government. government agency that he ran, clone of Pocahontas. That's not for Ohio. Mike has my total endorsement. There's another interesting storyline in Ohio. There are interesting rules the state has when the governor's in charge of national elections, meaning the year 2020. Is that a reason as to why the president would come there on the final day of campaigning on Monday?
Well, you'd have to ask the president that, but it's the reason I think that the Democrats have sent in a ton of money from California, a ton of money from New York, and from people who have no real interest in Ohio. I think the Democrats look at Ohio as a stepping stone to the White House. They've got to win. Having a Democrat governor in Ohio is something that they really want, and you can tell that by the amount of out-of-state money that's flowing into Ohio. What we focus on, though, every day is this is a race about Ohio, and it's for Ohioans. When you compare my record as Attorney General versus Richard Cordray's as Attorney General, we both had the same office. I beat him, followed him. He let untested rape kits sit around Ohio. When I got in office, we tested almost 14,000 of them. We got matches in 36%, so we had justice for the victims. He ignored that. He failed Ohio's rape victims.
Well, sir, thank you for your time. I'm out of time for now, but Richard Cordray is invited to come on here and respond to all that. So, Mike Dewine, thank you. Dayton, Ohio today. We'll see what happens on Tuesday.
Good to talk with you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Bill.
Sandra.